Okay, well, let's go into this election win in a little bit more detail. Joining me now is Oleksii Movchan. He's a member of the Ukrainian Parliament, and he joins us live now from Kiev. Oleksii, in a post-election news conference, Putin said that his wins vindicated his decision to defy the West and invade Ukraine. What do you make of those comments and of the whole Russian election, really?
So first of all, hello, and thank you for the opportunity to speak with the auditorium. First of all, we should be fair with the whole world that the Russian dictatorship has long had nothing to do with democracy. In particular, the procedure of open and competitive elections. There is no doubt that Putin will once again be proclaimed the winner for election, as it happened now. And this happens due to legal manipulations with, first of all, Russian constitution, total propaganda that is used inside the Russian Federation and outside the Russian Federation, and the destruction of any manifestations of political competition that the Putin regime has retained power for almost a quarter of a century. And we can see this in how he behaves with his real political opponents. First of all, the killing of Boris Nemtsov 10 years ago, and now killing Alexei Navalny. So there is no real opposition and real competitiveness in the Russian election. Besides this, all Russia and Putin's regime breaks international law, and Russia has launched a genocidal war against Ukraine and is trying to annex its territories. It's trying to destroy the world order on rules that are based that have been based previously. Yep. He uses annexed territories to create some kinds of so-called elections.
Yes, and I want to, sorry to interrupt, I want to ask you about that. There have been stories coming out of these annexed regions of Ukraine, of eastern regions in Ukraine, of people voting under duress or feeling like they had no choice but to vote for Putin, perhaps fearing consequences. I wondered if you had any examples that you've been hearing from people in those regions about what's been going on.
First of all, those people who are now under the control of Russian Federation, they in fact are prisoners. How do you think? What kind of choice does the prisoner have? Probably there is no choice. We have seen such kind of elections 10 years ago after the annexion of Crimea and part of Donbas region, when the elections have been taking part with guns and with military activists. By the way, on the pictures you can see all of this kind of observers, military observers. Actually, they are observers for prisoners. That is why the international community has the only logical and honest political response and to refuse and recognize Putin as Russia's legitimate leader. Just the legitimacy, just as the same as it has been done by legitimacy of Nicolas Maduro in Venezuela or Alexander Lukashenko in Belarus. This will be the fair response in breaking international law and democracy principle, because we cannot treat countries in the same way and their democracies in the same way when in one country there is real election, real democracy, and in a country such as Russian Federation there is no democracy and at all. They just call it in this way.
Okay, Oleksii Movchan, live from Kiev. Many thanks for joining us today on the NewsHour.